Alright, welcome to yet another Microsoft Flight Simulator FS Academy VFR lesson. Now I say lesson as in I am taking the lesson. I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to complete this because I tried it once and there was an aspect of it, the joining of the pattern, that I messed up royally and I couldn't find the airport. So this time I'm hoping it's going to be better. Lesson 4, local flight. Take a short flight across the countryside before performing an overhead join at a local airstrip. Let's go. So we're flying in New Zealand in uncontrolled airspace and performing an overhead join. I have actually this time, where's my, there we go, read the documentation. So there's a bit of explanation on airspace, like different altitudes you need to be flying over stuff, and then there's the overhead join, that which I completely messed up. Just lost my heading on the departure end, so turning into downwind, and just couldn't find the airport. So this time I'm gonna try not do that. Leave the airfield and travel across the New Zealand countryside in your first taste of flight in uncontrolled airspace before performing an overhead join. Let's go. Okay, visibility is good. There's a tiny little bit of wind from 270, and we are ready to fly.
You join us in the Robin as we're backtracking runway 32 in Thames on the New Zealand's North Island. Keep taxiing towards the end of the runway. We're going to conduct a full VFR flight completely in uncontrolled Class G airspace. To begin, we'll depart Thames via the circuit and start heading southeast.
Alright, turn out a little bit
Now
to the
slow
right.
to a walking pace and make a 180 turn to line
And
up.
then go left rudder, left brake, and just regulate the throttle to turn, and then line up the center.
Align yourself in the centre of the grass runway and come to a stop. There's no ATC here at Thames, so we'll broadcast what we're doing on the local traffic frequency. Thames traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha, taking off runway 32, Thames.
Flaps at the takeoff.
Now set full power and take off from runway 32.
We have mixture full rich. That lever we're not using, and we're setting full power now. Releasing the brakes and keeping on the right rudder. Airspeed's alive. I'm assuming we need to get about 60, 65 to lift off.
Raise the nose to the climb altitude.
Still hitting that
Climb
right rudder.
altitude and fly straight ahead initially. We'll join a left circuit after takeoff. Right rudder to keep the ball centered.
And we're at 300 feet. Soon we can get rid of that 1 notch
300 feet
flaps.
above airfield level, flaps up.
Feet, we can start turning left, I assume.
We're passing 500 feet, so make a left turn to the crosswind leg, climbing to 1,000 feet circuit altitude.
So like what, 22? 3. And now we're just climbing 3,000 feet.
Level off at 1,000 feet and turn left onto downwind, heading 140.
A little bit up trim. Downwind is 140, so let's make that turn.
Thames traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha downwind runway 32, leaving southbound to Thames. We're on the downwind leg of the circuit. We're going to carry on straight ahead and begin our local flight and climb higher once we've left the circuit area.
Dipping. Why are we dipping? We shouldn't be dipping. There we go. That should be okay. Staying at 1,000. We're not really flying 1-4. Maybe we need to bank a little bit to the right. Stay on the ball. There we go. Happy with that. Until we start dipping for some unknown reason, but then gaining altitude. So let's trim down. A lot of these little pockets of
Now we've
air.
left the circuit to the south, climb straight ahead to 2,500 feet on heading 140.
Okay, full power. Heading 140, 2,500 feet.
Keeping the Waihu River on your left, we're aiming for Te Aroha, which is the town just at the base of the tallest part of the ridgeline up ahead.
Okay, I can see the ridgeline. My rate of climb is all over the place. See if I can just trim up and leave it there. It has this tendency to nose down for some reason. I guess I'm just not trimming enough. Climbing at around 80. I don't know what the best rate of climb is for this plane. See, that's one thing that I've noticed. This FS Academy tutorial series changes planes quite often, which, I mean, yeah, it's good to get experience in different planes, but it's not great when you're trying to learn how a certain plane behaves in certain situations. So I think I prefer it if you could possibly just pick a plane for the entire duration of the VFR course. We're higher up, so somewhere here at 2.5 could lean the mixture a little bit.
Accelerate to cruising speed of about 100 knots.
Also pull the throttle back a little bit, and let's see what the plane does. She wants to climb, so and now we're descending quite a bit. So yeah, we do need nose up trim. And we are pointing at Tiaraha. Good. Still need to accelerate a little bit, so maybe a bit more power. It's like you hit these pockets and all of a sudden you gain like 100 feet or lost 100 feet. Okay, I'm at 100 knots, so maybe just pull back on the power now. Yeah,
set power to hold 100 knots and make sure you're trimmed out. Maintain 2,500 feet.
I just feel like it's really hard to maintain altitude in this plane. I mean, I'm pushing pretty hard on
Lead the mixture slightly if you
I
haven't
did.
already to make the engine's fuel-to-air ratio more efficient. You may need to reduce power and retrim afterwards. Keep a speed of 100 knots.
Wind was it 7 knots, 270.
Initially in uncontrolled airspace. At this altitude,
tail
we
end,
don't need to
basically.
account for any cruising level restrictions, and we can simply remain clear of cloud. We can see the river starting to bend away to the left, set a heading of 150, pointing us between the dark marshland we see on the right and the high ground on the left.
Yep, that's what we're doing. So I'm trying to look at the instrument as little as possible. Trying to get my bearings from just looking outside.
Once cruising VFR, make sure to keep a good lookout the whole time. We're in uncontrolled airspace below 3,000 feet, so anyone can be flying around in any direction
Let's have a
and
look.
at any altitude, even without a radio. If we were to climb
Pretty
above
hills, really pretty
3,000
hills.
feet, we'd need to fly at a VFR cruising
That's where we
level.
came from, somewhere.
Heading east, we'd go for an odd altitude plus 500 feet, such as 3,500 feet. Traffic heading west would be at an even altitude plus 500, giving us some separation. Above 3,000 feet, we also need to have a minimum cloud separation of 1,500 meters laterally and 1,000 feet vertically. This is instead of simply staying out of the cloud and remaining in sight of the ground, as we're doing here at 2,500 feet. Maintain 2,500 feet.
Turn on pitot heat just for the fun of it.
If you look to the left, you'll see the town of Pyroa, and just beyond that a gap in the ridgeline called the Waihi Gap. Watch for traffic going in or out of there, and continue heading 150. Maintain 2,500 feet.
Yeah, wow. I look away for 5 seconds and I've lost like 300 feet. That's not good. It looked like I didn't, but I need to learn how to scan a little bit better.
Keep a speed of 100 knots.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I also need to climb at the same time. Tiny bit more throttle. So I can get up to 2,500 feet. Okay. Yep, there we go. And we start throttling down, trimming. My controls feel super sensitive in this plane. It just feels like it's impossible to trim it out properly and leave it there for, you know, like 5-10 minutes. It will want to skip about, and I don't know if that's because of the weather simulation, the fact that I'm crossing, you know, hills and rivers and such, and there are up and down drafts, or the fact that I just am fundamentally incompetent. Like now, for example, the altitude needle started moving up, and at the same time I was flying over a hill, so I'm assuming that there's some kind of updraft coming from that side, and that could be actually confirmed because the wind's coming from 27, so that would be pushing me up there. Again with the altitude loss.
See the highest peak on the left side? That's Tiaraha town just below it. Take us overhead to Tiaraha.
Yep.
When flying VFR, there are minimum altitudes that come into play. Unless we're taking off or landing, the rules are that we can't get any lower than 500 feet above the ground or any person, vehicle, building, etc. That minimum becomes 1,000 feet if crossing a built-up area, such as a town like Tiaraha. For really big towns and cities, another rule comes into play, which is the glide clear rule. This means that we must always be able to glide beyond any built-up area and be able to land in a safe place in the event of an emergency, such as an engine failure. It also applies once we start heading out over water. You have to be able to glide back to solid ground for a landing, which limits how far off the coast we can go in this kind of aircraft. We're going to carry on ahead towards Tiaraha before heading towards our next airfield, Matamata.
And how are we joining there? Again, let's check the documentation. So we're going to fly into, flying across the runway, and then hang a right, going downwind, and then land.
Maintaining 2,500 feet.
It's like you really get an appreciation for pilots when you try to keep this little thing steady. And it's just bouncing about on me. for that reminder. But I also need to keep an altitude of 2,500, so...
Maintain 2,500 feet.
This is getting sloppy. But it's also getting really bumpy. Just flown over to Arrow. We'll see if the game actually accepts that.
We've reached Tiara, so now carry on ahead for a short distance, keeping the ridgeline to your left.
We're meant to be flying 130.
As we get closer to the ridgeline, become mindful of turbulence. If the wind is strong and is coming from the other side of the ridge, you can find severe downdrafts. So always give high ground some extra space when downwind of it. If you look to your right at about 1 o'clock, see the long straight road, turn to heading 160 and follow the road, keeping it on your left. Keep a speed of 100 knots. Follow this straight road and it'll take us towards Matamata Airfield. The road is an example of a line feature. Line features such as roads and railways are great for following, but if crossing over them, be mindful that they don't give precise lateral guidance, unless there's a standout feature, such as a junction or a town.
I always do this. I shifted the right chair, and then I have no idea how to get back.
Left side, as this makes it easier to see from your seat. Traffic following the line in the other direction should also be doing this, giving you some separation.
How exactly do I do that when I'm sitting in the right chair? How do I get back? God damn it, I need to figure out these controls. This has happened like 10 times already. There we go. I have no idea what it did.
Keep a speed of 100 knots.
And an altitude of 2,500 feet, which I've been keeping for the past like 2 minutes. Yeah. So keeping altitude and speed and turbulence. I had to read up on that basically and start doing it. Because this just, it feels sloppy.
Keep a speed of 100 knots. We're going to enter the circuit at Matamata. Although it's uncontrolled, we still use our radio to broadcast our position and intentions and listen for other traffic. To enter an uncontrolled circuit, we use the standard overhead join, which has us arrive overhead the airfield at circuit altitude plus 500 feet, looking down onto the airfield to observe the runways and look for any other aircraft.
What was that, 1,500 feet? Oh, I did this thing with the chair again.
The circuit is where the circuit pattern is. The dead side is the other side of the runway, which is where we do any descending down to circuit altitude.
There we go.
The road we're following kinks off to the left, and we're going to keep heading 160 as it takes us straight towards Matamata. Start descending to 1,700 feet.
Pull back on the throttle.
Keep a speed of 100 knots.
Now we're going down at 1,000 feet per minute. That's probably a lot. Let's keep it less than that.
We make a radio call before we reach the overhead to give advance notice to any other aircraft in the circuit. Mata traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha, 1,700 feet from the north for overhead join at Mata.
Okay, so we got that weird, like rectangular shape field to the left of it, and we got a couple of other like drier fields to the right, and there's some white buildings in front of it. Okay. And there's like a little town further south. Okay, so at least I'm gonna have my reference points here. That's good. Seems like the field begins on the left there and it ends at those white buildings. Okay. I'm assuming we're landing from the left, so I have no idea what that heading is. Like 1, 2 or something. Is that where it goes? No idea. We are
keep 1,700
losing
feet
altitude
for now. Looking just left of the nose, you can begin to pick out the wide grass runway of Mata
Yeah, there we have it.
with the white buildings to the western end. We're going to use runway 28, making a right-hand circuit for training. Maintain 1,700 feet and turn left slightly to fly over the runway 28 threshold, about heading 130.
There we go. So runway 28. Which means that when we turn, we need to be pointing 28. We'll be turning right in a minute.
When nearing the runway 28 threshold, start a right-hand turn and I'll call overhead. Mata traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha, overhead for runway 28, Mata.
Next ridge.
Now we're crossing the runway, we're entering the dead side. Start descending to circuit altitude, 1,200 feet, and turn right to cross over the upwind end of runway 28, near the white buildings.
I can't see the white. Oh, there we go.
Mata Foxtrot Sierra Alpha, descending dead side 28, Mata.
Turning right,
keep the turn going towards heading 010 and aim to cross the upwind end at circuit altitude 1,200 feet.
Yeah, I'm a little low.
Bank angle. Now we're crossing the upwind end, we should be 1,200 feet and about heading 010 as we enter the live side.
Okay, so 2 more right turns, and I should not be losing altitude here.
We want 1,200 feet until the base turn. Now make the right turn onto right downwind, heading 100, maintaining 1,200. Mata Foxtrot Sierra Alpha, right downwind 28 to land, Mata. Downwind checks, brakes, pressures and released, undercarriage fixed, mixtures full rich, fuel on and sufficient, instrumentations T's and P's are in the green, and cabin secure. Notice how it's a little harder to see on a right-hand circuit. This is why they're typically made to the left.
There we go, okay. I'm 200 feet too low. Yeah, still not 45 degrees from the runway. But I'm in the correct heading at least. So So soon I'm going to have to be turning
Runway looks
base.
about 45 degrees over your right shoulder, so make your right descending turn onto base, slowing to 80 knots.
I am at 80 knots in a bit. Right? Yeah, that's 80 knots.
Once
We're
inside the
going
white
base.
airspeed band, take first stage of flap and hold 80 knots on base. Matamata's runway
there.
28 is grass and unmarked. It also has unusual dimensions, being about triple the width of a normal runway, at 137 meters.
What the hell is it there? Okay,
Make
so
your
we
own
need to
turn
turn
onto
the
final and judge your approach with this in mind.
turn on to final. There we go. And we should be getting there in about
Back angle.
now. That's a wide ass runway. Okay, a little bit more right rudder. One more stage of flaps. And we've gotten so much speed. Okay, so we need to line up with something that resembles center line.
Bring the speed back to about 60 knots and take landing flat. We'll make a full stop landing. As this grass runway is unmarked, choose an aiming point roughly where you'd expect to find the runway numbers and keep that locked in.
So we're aiming, if you look on the left side there where the darker field ends.
So try to account for this. Power back and flare attitude, look to the far end.
There we go, perfect touchdown. Perfect touchdown, that was beautiful. And let's stop. We'll aim for those buildings over there somewhere. That was a really butter landing.
From airfield to airfield,
I'm actually quite happy with that.
Navigation in between, and made an overhead join to join a right-hand circuit.
Cool. Did something good. There we go. Congratulations. Perfect score. Now, as I always say, yeah, the scoring system's broken. I can definitely work on my coordinated turns, on my altitude holding, and on my speed holding. But yeah, this has been a bit of an experience. All right, FS Academy, VFR, lesson 4, a bit of a cross-country flight. All right, I'll see you in the next one.